What the K Plan was intended to do was to really help support people where they are now in the hopes that they would avoid needing much more expensive and sterile institutional-like settings.
During the last 10 years, our understanding and specialized care for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities in Jackson County has really improved.
Hi, I'm Bill Mance with Jackson County Close-Up, and we're here today with Rick Kamel. Rick is the Division Manager of the Developmental Disabilities Program here at your Jackson County Health and Human Services Department. Rick's going to share with us how his team supports the people with these disabilities and the support they give to their families. Rick, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thanks for having me.
Talk about how we care for the people with developmental disabilities and how that's changed really over the last 10 years or so.
So it's changed dramatically, really. Basically, the community programs for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities started as a deinstitutionalization program. Okay. So we had Fairview up near Salem, which was the largest institution. There was another one in Pendleton, the Eastern Oregon institution. And so decades ago, they started to realize maybe that's not the best thing. And so they brought people back to their communities. But after that, our finances were connected to Medicaid. And the deinstitutionalization and the paid services is always an agreement between the state of Oregon and Medicaid. And what that really meant was not everybody who was eligible had access to our services. Okay. They had to meet a certain level of care. And to be honest, that level of care was in significant risk of harm or near death. So we had very little services for children, and even the majority of adults didn't even qualify. So that all changed about 5 years ago. The Affordable Care Act came with it, something that's called the K Plan. What the K Plan was intended to do was to really help support people where they are now in the hopes that they would avoid needing much more expensive and sterile institutional-like settings. So on the senior side, it was if family and friends can be paid supports, we can keep the elderly people, the physically disabled, and our folks, the developmentally disabled, we can keep them in their family home or possibly on their own by really paying the people they already know to help keep them supported versus going to a skilled nursing facility. So that's the big change. We have a lot more funded supports for individuals that are called personal support workers, and those PSWs support people in their own homes or family homes. So once we identify the really significant pieces of their daily lives that they need support with, we can authorize PSWs to go in and really help them get through just day-to-day life and take a lot of pressure off families.
Tell us about the internet-based functional needs assessment and how it affects the funding and the care of service.
Everybody we serve and then support through paid supports with Medicaid funds must have a functional needs assessment. So before the K Plan, we had 4 to 6 different types of assessments that we did for different settings. And Medicaid said that's not what we want. We want a very kind of global, universal functional needs assessment. So the state finally did that, and not only did they do that, they stuck it into our pre-existing database that we use to kind of track the people that we serve. And so right now, the functional needs assessment are not being used to set rates, but in coordination and kind of partnering with Medicaid, we're going through a first year where everyone gets one. They're going to look at all the data, and then they're going to decide how this one functional needs assessment can be a rate tool for, as I said, the 4 to 6 separate rate tools that we used before.